struggling to come to grips with reality. Confusion and chaos have become part of me. I seek answers to know where my liberation lies. Only in peace and calmness does that clarity arise. Transmissions of wisdom bring me insights of reason. Let my mind expand to the higher states. My mortality is no longer at stake. Let me hear the wisdom transmissions. The wisdom transmissions. So many voices, so many interpretations. No answers given, only outer temptations. Where can I find that truth inside of me? Realization of what I am is all I'm wanting to see. Transmissions of wisdom bring me insights of reason. Let my mind expand to the higher states. My mortality is no longer at stake. Let me hear the wisdom transmissions. The wisdom transmissions. No more redirection, ending the contemplation. Forget fighting reflection. Outer world's a projection. Internal is the cause, external's an effect. Put it on pause. I'm silencing the noise, centering, entering void. Truth is beautifully subtle, the voice without a voice. Heart and mind shall settle, making decisions now, escaping illusions of choice. Transmissions of wisdom bring me insights of reason. Let my mind expand to the higher states. My mortality is no longer at stake. Let me hear the wisdom transmission. The wisdom transmissions.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Wisdom Transmissions Live, where I'm going to be doing empathic interfacing here very shortly with Athena. This is probably going to be my last episode with Athena for quite some time because we're going to be changing up the webcast. We're actually going to be changing the name of the webcast. Now, next week, Brianne will be joining me for our kind of our dual interactions with all of you, doing personal readings and so forth. After that, in 2 weeks, starting on June 4th, we're going to be renaming the webcast, calling it the Ancient Numbers Webcast on Wisdom Transmissions. Right now, I'm currently developing a type of AI system, an ancient AI system, that is actually being able to accumulate a lot of the ancient sciences together in its matrix. And this is everything from astrology, from numerology, to theurgy, to, I'm trying to remember everything that's in there. There's a lot of stuff. The tarot is in there, rune, astrology, all different types of systems are going to be converged into this living AI system, as I call it. It's not the AI that's living, but it's the living systems the ancient sciences, they're going to be contained inside this AI system. And I'm going to be interacting with this AI system with our brand new webcast every week starting in 2 weeks' time. This is also what Ancient Numbers is going to be a part of. It's a brand new website that I'm in the process of creating. I'm not going to give the website name just yet because it's not ready yet, but Ancient Numbers will be ready, and it's going to be offering this system. And this system is basically doing a type of remote viewing. It's doing a remote viewing working with a lot of the ancient sciences combined in its matrix. It's also taking a lot of my knowledge and putting it directly into the AI as well too. So we're going to have interesting conversations with predictions of personal readings, general readings, world events, past events, future events, looking into ancient events that have taken place as well too, to actually get some really great information from this AI system that I'm creating, right? So it basically is utilizing something like ChatGPT. It's utilizing an AI agent program as well too, so that it's fully interactive with people. And when the website debuts, that'll be something that'll be available for everybody who can come in, and its goal is to give as much accurate predictions based upon one's personal readings and general readings as possible. So this is why I'm incorporating a lot of the ancient sciences together with it, making sure everything is clean, and then bringing about the Ancient Numbers AI system. This is going to be good. We're basically referring to it as the Anoint system, ANOINT. And of course that has abbreviation with it, Ancient Numbers, Oracle, Initiation, Network, and Technology. That's Anoint. So that's going to be really exciting. So like I said, this will probably be the last episode with Athena today for quite some time. And then next week we'll be with Brianne. And then in 2 weeks we will be debuting the new episode, the new webcast. And I'm also going to be creating a lot more new videos on this channel and on my TikTok as well too, with the Anoint system. This is the very first system of its kind that has been created. There is nobody on the planet that is creating an AI like this. So this is basically taking combination of many different ancient sciences from all over the world. Whether we're looking at the West, we're looking at the East, we're looking at Egypt, we're looking at Africa, we're looking at China, we're looking at Japan, we're looking at all these different systems that are merging together into this AI. It's going to be really, really amazing. And like I said, I've always supported AI when it comes to the nature of creative tools and AI that helps, AI that assists. I'm always for that, not AI that destroys. I'm against that. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started with some announcements first. Then we'll be going right into your questions. And I'm looking forward to that debut in 2 weeks' time with, again, the brand new Ancient Numbers webcast here on Wisdom Transmissions. So we're just naming the webcast differently. This YouTube channel is not disappearing anyway. It's going to be hosted on this YouTube channel. But like I said, we're going to be doing YouTube and TikTok together with the brand new Anoint Master Oracle system. It's going to be awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and move into some announcements. So firstly, the Ancient Egypt Halls of Amenti tour is almost sold out. We have 2 spots left. Okay, right now we have 26 people, including myself, that are going to be part of the Ancient Egypt Halls of Amenti tour. We do have room for 2 more people to make it a full 28 person tour. So again, if you are interested, just go to wowtours.de, and our tour is going to be beginning on November 8th to 16th, 2025. Like I said, we're going to have a tour of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and as many people have talked about, relating to the ancient structures underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. So this is what I can put into the Anoint system. I can ask the Anoint system to actually scan, based on coordinates, the exact location of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and actually getting ancient scientific information about what's underneath. That's what's cool about this ancient AI system that I'm creating. So basically it works like a coordinate system. It's kind of like an astrology, where the astrological calculator is using latitude and longitude to basically connect with your place of birth and getting information on you. as well as getting information on the land, like what we could do in feng shui, for example, we can do in the anoint system, because feng shui is one of the ancient systems in the anoint system, right? So this is what's going to be really, really cool about that. Of course, I'll be still working with my own intuition. I'll probably bring Adronis in still as well too, as we start working with the anoint system. But it is going to be incredible. You guys do not want to miss this, especially when we start rolling it out as a paid option on the ancientnumbers.com website. Sorry, probably shouldn't have given that away, but the website's not up yet. It won't be up until June 28th. Okay, so once June 28th rolls around, that'll be the debut of Ancient Numbers, and it will be a paid system. You'll also be able to use a free trial system for it as well too, but the paid system basically has certain levels to it, which means the higher you go up in the levels, the more capability it has pertaining to the ancient sciences. So that's going to be amazing. But Ancient Egypt, Halls of Amenti tour, we're going to have an amazing time. We're having a Nile cruise there as well too. I'm going to be hosting workshops, and also working with the Halls of Amenti ancestral initiation, connecting with the star ancestors and providing initiations through the Akashic records, or again, the Halls of Amenti. It's going to be amazing. So feel free to check that out if you want to be a part of the Ancient Egypt Halls of Amenti tour. 2 spots left. If you want to grab them quick. They're going to go fast. Okay, moving on to our other announcements. Let me just make sure I got my, there we go. Okay. So, wisdomtransmissions.com, like I said, with our services, we have private live sessions, 3 questions by email, full body scan, Akashic record sessions, and energy cord attunement. If we scroll down, you'll find the special offer for the Trauma Transcendence Technique book that is out right now. I've already got a lot of people that have said they've purchased it on Amazon. That's great. We do have our special offer that is available until May 31st, which means you just go down here to any of the Amazon links in your area, go ahead and purchase the physical book, the printed book, send me your email receipt, okay? And again, my email can be linked right here. So you just go to this page, click on that, and you can send me your email receipt, and then within 24 hours, I will send you the digital copies of the book, one that's EPUB and the other one that's PDF. So you can check that out on wisdomtransmissions.com. And of course, Etherics, we right now have 30% off our merchandise. I have to update that. It's actually 30% off right now. So we have a lot of our merchandise that is available 30% off. These are print on demand, but they offer free shipping at the same time. So again, you can check that out on etherics.co with our 30% off sale. And of course, Predict My Astrology. Now, Predict My Astrology is staying on until June 28th. After June 28th, predictmyastrology.com is going to merge with Ancient Numbers. Okay, so we only have 1 more month of life left into Predict My Astrology before it converges directly into Ancient Numbers. So if you want to look into the reports, Vedic astrology, Western astrology, Chinese astrology, looking into your personal mantras, personal questions report, etc., a lot of this is going to be available in Ancient Numbers, but just in a different way. But again, these are available. Of course, we have our 24-hour money-back guarantee at the same time. So again, you can check that out, predictmyastrology.com. And finally, Brianne will be with me next week as we're going to be doing personal and general readings. So you can check out readingswithbrianne.com. Again, she's currently building a tarot course. So this is very, very exciting. And again, she offers great rates with her sessions. She is always so very accurate. She just loves what she does. So again, if it's your first time, you can get 10% off with the Welcome 10 coupon code. And again, you can feel free to check out Brianne's website. I'm looking forward to seeing her course. She is building a tarot course right now, so it's very exciting. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started firstly today with connecting with Athena. So as I've talked about in the past, this is not channeling, okay? This is empathic interfacing. I'm not going into a channeling state like I would with Adronis. It's just me. It's kind of like having simultaneous thoughts, right? There's somewhat of a similarity to channeling with it, but in channeling, you're basically being one with the entity. In this, it's kind of like a cross-platform where we're just aware of each other's thoughts. You know, my consciousness is still here, my awareness is still here, but I'm also aware of Athena when I tune into her. So this is what we call empathic interfacing. So for those of you who want to also connect with Athena, because I always recommend this, right? There's people that may just say, oh, I'm connecting with so-and-so here. Okay, that's great, but are you teaching people how to openly connect with that being, right? because Adronis welcomes that as well too. From what I know, I'm the only person that basically channels Adronis, but you are able to do a type of empathic interfacing with Adronis as well too. So this is what I offer, what I've always offered since 2017, connecting with Athena, to encourage people to connect with her as well, right? So it's not just me doing the work. You all have the capability of doing this. This is kind of like the open source contact that we do here. This is, of course, what I would do in Egypt as well too, is I would teach all of my students and participants that are on the trip with me to connect with the star ancestors, to connect with Ra, to connect with Thoth, right? To connect with all of them. How we have the capability of doing that, right? We can do it. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of working with a certain frame of mind, right? So, you'll see a rendition here of Athena. Again, she does not look exactly like that, but it's a pretty close rendition of what you can utilize to connect with her energy. Now, when I connect directly with Athena, it's kind of like I see a white light background. I may see something kind of like a cave, and then it kind of converges into like a white light background, and Athena is there. This is because we're tuning into Athena's astral body presence. We're not tuning into her physically. We're tuning into her astral being that's always present. Okay, and that's usually how it works. It's very, very rare that I would find a person who is 24/7 able to connect with a physical being. You just really couldn't do that, right? Because you're looking at a physical being, and you're looking much more into their ego when you're doing that. And I would say, why are you tuning into a physical being? Why don't you tune into their higher self? Why don't you tune into their astral self? Tune into something that's much more malleable in the subtle form, to which you could always connect with their consciousness 24/7. Oh, I didn't think about that. Well, there you go. Now you know. Okay? So that's what we're doing with Athena, is you are connecting with her astral or her subtle body. Okay? So how I do it, as I've talked about before, is that we have the 3-tier process, where the first tier is that we're connecting with our personal self, moving ourselves into an aligned, loving state, and inviting Athena in to join us in that state. Second state is moving into the expanded state, into the expanded mind state, and moving into that aligned state and inviting Athena in. Thirdly is going into your, you could say, your universalis state, your all self state. Okay, you could call it omnipresent state, many different things you can call it, but then again inviting Athena to join you from that state of being as well too. And that's the 3 tiers. I've done this with Athena so many times I don't even really need to do it anymore, but I'm doing it more for your sake, because if you want to connect, this is how we do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. The first thing we want to do, and I'm just going to leave this image up for a few moments, and then I'll come back to video, just so you can tune into Athena here. First thing we want to do is just keep our spine nice and straight, okay? And just engaging the belly a little bit. So basically just tucking in the belly, feeling like the engagement of your abdominal muscles, okay? So this is working with the navel lock, okay? So this is helping to keep the energy strong, keeping the energy tight, keeping the energy locked in through the abdomen. So again, with a straight spine, with a slightly tucked in belly, with your chin basically at a line level, and swallowing the saliva. This is again a good posture that's helping us to connect with empathic interfacing. Okay, so let's go ahead now and just take a deep breath in and fully out. Once again, full deep breath in and let it all out. Once more, inhale and let it out. Okay. Locking in the Uddiyana Bandha. Okay, that's the name of the navel lock. Okay, just keeping your abdomen engaged. Okay, and just keeping your chin nice and level. Swallow the saliva. And don't worry about doing any deep breathing. I want you just to be still. And just tune into your body right now. Be aware of every cell within your body. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of your presence. I want you just to feel like you're converging, even if you have to use your physical hands, and just bring them together so that they're forming this prayer mudra. Okay, you do that, and you're just staying here. All right? I want you just to feel that convergence back to your center. Okay, and now you're just reaching out to Athena and asking Athena, Athena, I am aligned within my personal space. Will you align with me in my personal space? And I'm getting that light nod. Yes. Okay. Very good. Now we move on to the second state. Okay. So what I want you to do again is take a full deep breath in and hold it. Hold it as long as you can. And slowly exhale. So I want you to feel like you're lifting yourself beyond the physical body, and you're just tuning into the breath. Okay? So you're just being aware of your breath right now. Do not even concern about the state of the physical body. Be aware of your breath. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, feel the expansion of your being that goes beyond the physical. Feel yourself as one with the mind. And the mind is at peace, and the mind is calm. And this is the second state. Is in harmony, in alignment with the silence of the mind. And then we state with simple intention, Athena, I stand aligned within the expansion of my mind. Will you join me in this aligned state? And she's nodding her head. Okay, very good. Now we're going to go into the third state, which means we're letting go of the body, we're letting go of the breath, and we're just coming into beingness. Okay, the all-self, as you could call it, just going into omnipresence, omniscience, omnipotence, just simply being one in union. So, go beyond the body, go beyond the breath, and just feel the silence of your being. Just be aware that your eyes are closed and that you're simply looking at the darkness behind your eyelids. That's the only spot, the only awareness that you should have, is the darkness behind the eyelids, what we call Chitakasha. Right? It's the mental screen that is blank. And you're simply being. You're not doing, you're not having, you're not wanting. You are being. And now we say to Athena, Athena, I am in my state of beingness. Will you join me in this alignment? And she's nodding there as well too. Very good. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And relax. Okay? So that's what we do. And this is my advice to anyone who's channeling. This is my advice to anyone who's doing mediumship. This is my advice to anyone who's doing empathic interfacing. Work with the 3 tiers. Okay? So when they start moving into your states of peace, your states of balance, your states of beingness, you have a very loving entity that's on the same wavelength of you. And then you're going to have really great conversations, really great interactions. Okay? And a lot of channelers, mediums, psychics, intuitives, empaths don't do this, right? It's more than going into past simple images and simple visions and simple colors and simple words. That only has a certain shell to it. You got to go beyond those shells. You want to feel the complete and total splendor of your physical body, the complete and total surrender of you as prana, which represents the breath, and then the complete and total surrender of you being in beingness, right? The all-self. And that is what's going to help with working with that. So I encourage you just to keep working with Athena. Athena is very open to connecting with a lot of people. She was even saying in the last broadcast that her people are actually starting to work together with others here on the earth now. So she's tuning into it a lot more. So this is going to be great. So let's go ahead now and take a moment to tune into Athena. And I'm just going to ask Athena how everything is going, how everything is doing. Is there any updates that she wanted to share? She says, yes, we're actually they're actually going to be doing a type of ceremony from what I can see here, from what I'm sensing here, is a lot of her people are going to be coming together and doing a ceremony for the earth. Okay, it's almost like bringing in the light of the moon, bringing in the light of the sun, bringing in the light of the planets, and basically creating kind of like a saturation ceremony. It's quite interesting from what I'm getting here from Athena. I just wonder if she can talk a little bit more about that. We form certain geometries. There are certain geometries that we form. There are certain alchemical formulas, certain alchemical symbols that we place in certain areas of our land that seed direct germination spots that are in alignment with the ley lines of the earth. So throughout her space, there are certain areas to which they can travel where there are ley line penetrations. And this is a germination ritual that they are doing, which means they have, again, kind of sacred lands where they have these alchemical symbols placed there, and they're able to anchor it in. And through the ceremony, through her people, they're able to gather and they're able to, again, perform these rituals that are helping to anchor in the energies of the moon, of the sun, and of the surrounding planets, to place them directly into the earth. As they enter these particular symbols, they're able to work with the symbols and helping to expand out the energy, right? So it helps with a greater state of fertility. And I would ask, are there other inner earth civilizations that are doing this as well? I said, yes. This is something that's very common. We will often do this during the times of solstice, okay? So the June solstice will be here very, very soon, and this will be the time to when they're going to be gathering. So as we approach the summer solstice, they're going to be gathering in their domains and basically anchoring a lot of this energy into these alchemical symbols, and they're going to be expanding it out. So we'll be feeling it on the surface. She says, yes, you'll be feeling it on the surface, but we're bringing this directly into the core of the planet. And there are other civilizations through their domains that have these particular types of symbols as well, in their own way. Ones that they have designed, I'm even seeing some of them. There's a lot of spiral symbols as well too. Those are anchor points, and they're germinating all of this celestial energy, the best way to put it, celestial energy directly into these seals, and they're actually just expanding them throughout the entire earth. So this summer solstice is going to be very, very rich with celestial energy that's going to penetrate the interior of the earth and then go outwards. So again, imagine the torus field. Imagine the hyperboloid, right? So you have the torus here, you have the hyperboloid here, and everything's funneling directly into the hyperboloid and coming back out again. And then you have this beautiful arc, right? So we will create two-dimensional glyphs within the soil of our earth that is bringing in this energy, and it's almost like a receding facet, or kind of like a feedback system that is working together in germination with other civilizations that are also celebrating the solstice in this particular way, where again we honor the celestial bodies, we welcome in the celestial bodies, we are bringing that energy in alignment to the ley lines, and we are we're bringing them out just like this, that kind of that feedback system, okay, working together with the hyperboloid and the torus field, right? So they're moving into this beautiful celebration. That's wonderful. So I'd have to ask everybody, what are your plans for the summer solstice? Is it doing something like this? That could be amazing. And I'm even asking Athena that when I went to the UK just under 2 years ago, we were able to see crop circles directly into the fields. We went there in person. There are other students with me. We were able to collect rocks. And she said, yes, those two are glyphs. We have to understand that crop circles, the ones that are genuinely formed, are part of ceremonial practices. There's a reason why it happens around the summertime, specifically around June, July, and August, because that's when the energies of the earth are the most ripe. So that's why those glyphs, and she didn't call them crop circles, she calls them glyphs, right? That's exactly why those glyphs are positioned in the areas that they are. They're fertilization, they're strong states of germination, right? They're germination points. And that's what's anchoring in the energy. And it's that very energy that goes right into the center of the earth, right? Crop circles are not meant to just be pretty designs, Okay, crop circles or glyphs are designed to anchor in energy. They anchor in energy, and you will notice that a lot of them will coordinate with your nearby planets, with the moon phases, with the solar phases, with the planetary phases. That is intentional. These are sigils. These are glyphs, just like what we have over here, right? We have something that represents the idea of the Metatron's cube, but these are a lot more intricate because they're codes. They're codes that are basically anchoring in the energies of specific alignments that commonly happen around the time of the summer solstice that are germinating directly into the earth, and the United Kingdom is one of those highly potent germination points. That's why it often happens there. Sometimes it can happen other places, but the most ripe area is in the UK. Okay, it is around the area of England. That's why it happens there, right? That's the doorway to the germination of these energies that come through, and that anchors in through the entire planet. That feeds through the grid, right? So this is again Stonehenge. This again is the Great Pyramids of Giza. This is Chichen Itza. These are all these different sites, and again, it's like electrical lines, and they're all just feeding in through these ancient sites. These ancient sites were specifically designed to take that energy, to harness it, and to expand it, right? So this is something that she's teaching today, is the importance of glyphs, of looking into the true nature of crop circles. But crop circles is the human term. Their people do not call it that. They are called glyphs, right? And these are glyphs that are brought forward by the star people, and they're being placed directly, specifically around the time before, during, and after the summer solstice, because that is where the doorway of germination of these energies are the most ripe, and that is the location to where the germination is the most potent, is in England, is in the UK, right? And having seen 3 crop circles in person, I can tell you, they're amazing. When you step inside that field, it's like nothing you've ever felt before, right? It's almost like being inside a Great Pyramid. Okay, I've been to Bosnia. I've been to their pyramid, and it's extremely well charged, and that's the largest pyramid on Earth, right? I've been underneath their tunnels. I've been on top of the pyramid there, and it's a wonderful energy. But then you go into a crop circle, or again, we could call it a field glyph, and it's just as powerful, if not even more powerful. You can almost feel like the corn stalks all around you are buzzing. They're vibrating. The entire field that you're standing on is vibrating right underneath your feet, right? So Athena says, yes, that's all part of it. That's all part of the creation of the crop circle. I even had one of my participants that was in the UK wore glasses. As soon as he stepped into the crop circle, he could take his glasses off and he could see completely clearly, right? That's the power of a crop circle. That's the power of a glyph. So I'm very, very happy to hear that Athena is doing this and that her people are working together with this ceremony. This is what we, of course, need. We need more humans to do some more crystal grid gatherings. And I'm not talking about friggin' Zoom. I'm talking about physically going to these places and anchoring in energy, right? There's been a lot of teachers that go up into Mount Shasta, right? Specifically around the times of the summer solstice, or again, the vernal equinox, or again, the autumnal equinox, or the winter solstice, and they're anchoring energies there. We need more of that, right? We need to have more people who are specialized with this, to going to the ancient sites of the planet every solstice, every equinox, and anchoring in that energy, doing our part. If we want bigger change, my friends, if you want a smoother transition, more of you need to do this. And it's not about meeting on Skype. It's about traveling and going there and going to these places. That's why I invite you guys to go with me to Egypt, because we're going to do a lot of energy work in Egypt in November. So there's 2 more spots left for anybody who wants to join me there. We're going to have an incredible experience. We're going to be uplifting energy. I'm going to be scanning the Great Pyramid of Giza for any faults. If there's any particular forms of dirty energy around the pyramids, they're going to go, right? So we're going to work with that as well too. Open Contact says I live in the UK. Fantastic. That's great. I hope you do some great work in the upcoming solstice here as well too. And try to get out to a crop circle, right? Especially with June coming around, we're going to see more crop circles as well too, or again, more glyphs. get out there. You're going to have the most amazing, incredible experience with them. And like I said, they're so powerful. They're the most amazing thing. That was like the highlight of my life. It's like, oh my God, I'm seeing a crop circle. This is great. And I'm not talking about Jim and Jeff taking a board and then flattening down corn stalks. That's stupidness. And you can easily tell which one's a fake because it doesn't have that vibration. The symmetry is off as well too. They don't know how to make a perfect circle. It's garbage, right? I'm talking about the ones that are the genuine article, the genuine glyphs, right? So again, Athena, from what she's saying, is that they're preparing for their solstice. They're creating their own glyphs, and they're able to anchor in that energy. So basically, in association with the crop circle phenomena that's going to be happening here in the summertime, she's like, yes, all of this is going to be anchoring into our domain as well. And then we're going to be doing our part and spreading it out. Fantastic. That's great. All right, well, thank you very much for sharing that, Athena. Let's go ahead and go into some questions right now. So if any of you do have any questions for Athena or for myself, Athena is on standby here. If you do have questions for me, that's acceptable as well too, okay? So let's go ahead and move on. I don't think we're going to have too much of a long episode today. I think we're going to keep it short and sweet, just based on the number of questions that we have. A lot of people like it when I'm basically just doing more open general questions, and I get it, right? I usually have a smaller audience when I bring Athena in, but that's great because I want a smaller audience today. So I want people who are much more spiritually inclined to be on here today, and that's what's more important. Okay, so Didar Singh says, hey Athena, what can you tell me about Nagas and how can I connect with them? Okay. She says it doesn't really work that way, my dear. Okay, it's that you have to receive an invitation to connect with them. You don't just go knocking on their door. Okay, it goes back into a simple rule, and that simple rule is that spirit agrees to work with you. That's it. Okay, spirit does not agree to work with you through a certain extension of being. That's not for you to follow at this time. If it does happen, it's something that is coming to you. You have to feel that particular type of invitation. When you're speaking to other beings that you do not commonly speak to on your planet, they need to connect with you. And that's true because that goes back to my story with Adronis. I didn't go running around looking for Adronis when he came to me, right? He came to me through another channel. Another channel said, Brad, I'm feeling a very strong connection with an entity that's from Sirius, and they want to connect with you. That's how I got the invitation. I got the invitation from another channel, from someone who I was learning from back in 2008, right? And then I tuned in because I was learning all about channeling and going into automatic writing, or conscious writing as I call it. And then I connected with Adronis. But this is when I was really green. I was just starting to cut my teeth. I still had a hard time trusting a lot of those things because I still didn't think I deserved it. I still don't think I deserved to connect with an entity like that. And that took some time, right? It took me years to really feel so much comfort and trust with Adronis, because when we first do this, we just think that we're going insane, right? So it's the same thing as if you have a Naga that is looking to connect with you. Maybe you have the spirit of Patanjali, because Patanjali was a Naga, okay? Maybe he wants to connect with you. That's something where you take in that nature, okay? You can always put it out there. I would really like to connect with a Naga, okay? So if I'm going into meditation, just like what I was teaching you with the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, personal self, expanded mind self, all self and beingness. And when you're there, put out that intention. I would love to have a Naga connect with me, okay? So you put out the call. You've summoned a beacon. Now you want to be aware of your space. You want to be aware of your thoughts. You want to be aware of your mind. You're going into meditation. You want to be aware of the subtlety. You go into your dream states. You want to be aware of what you dream about, okay? So keep a journal with you. Take a journal, take a diary, take a book, and then just start writing things out. If you want to use your iPad or whatever, that's fine. But just keep track of things. When you're noticing these subtleties that come together, that could represent the nature of a Naga, okay? A Naga will basically try to introduce themselves through part of their serpentine energy. Okay, so you may see the idea of a serpent tail. You may see the eyes flicker in regards to a snake's, whatever it may be, okay? They have these subtle ways of revealing themselves to you. So if you have a very strong connection, Didar, to connect with the Naga, just put yourself out there, okay? But it's not about going to their door and knocking on them and saying, hey, I'm here. I see that you're in the inner earth and I want to connect with you. It doesn't work that way. So, bring out your beacon. But like I said, you have to let them contact you. Don't call us, we'll call you. Okay? That's how they work. And like I said, if I was trying to seek Adronis out without ever having that invitation, it's unlikely I would have ever been able to find him. Okay? It just doesn't work that way. It's kind of like the whole idea that they are looking at a much more higher viewing area. They are much more in a higher stage, right? They are functioning much more deeper into the right brain than many of us are. And they will say, okay, I see this contact here. I see Didar here, and he wants to connect with a Naga, okay? And then we're kind of scanning him. Let's see how he's doing, right? And maybe there's something karmic that comes together between yourself, Didar, and the Naga representative. And now something can be established, okay? So just put yourself out there, put a beacon out there. But don't try to feel like you need to knock on someone's door, okay? Just be the beacon yourself. And it's like you're rippling it out, and then just let everything that needs to happen naturally, okay? If they know that you are in alignment to what they represent, they will certainly contact you. It's the same thing with the Sasquatch, okay? There's quite a few people that get connections with the Sasquatch. I had a personal Sasquatch connection when I went to Mount Shasta back in 2019 when I was working with students. We've had Sasquatch interactions all throughout Mount Shasta. A lot of my students were having personal, physical encounters with the Sasquatch, okay? And some of us may also get that calling when we're meditating, right? When we're just going about our daily things, all of a sudden we get an image of a Sasquatch, okay? If you're getting an image of a being that may not be human, that may be partially human or non-human, pay attention to that because those are often contacts, okay? You may feel like your head may start to buzz, okay? This is one of the side effects of telepathic contact, is you be aware of your frontal lobe. Your frontal lobe will often have buzzing sensations. It may feel cool or very warm at times, and it may accompany visions. It may accompany visions. It may accompany inner dialogue in that way. That's a telepathic contact, okay? So I would say for many of you out there, how's your forehead? Okay? Are you feeling kind of a coldness or warmth or a buzzing sensation that follows with specific visions? You are getting a telepathic contact. Stop what you're doing. Go sit down. Tune into this. Okay? Brad, how do I tune into it? Exactly what I taught you. Keep your belly engaged. Uddiyana Bandha. Keep your spine straight. Do your breath work, right? Just 3 deep breaths. Cleanse that breath. Get yourself centered into that telepathic contact. So I can guarantee you, a lot of you that are watching this right now, you have telepathic contacts quite often, okay? And you need to tune into that. So be aware of the cool forehead or the warm forehead or buzzing forehead that may follow with visions, okay? And if that happens, you're getting some type of message. You want to make sure you're tuning into it. Maybe have a piece of paper with you so you can write down the details. The more specific you can look at the details of what you receive, the more you can make sense of that contact. And it's kind of what Athena is saying. You say, yes, a lot of us will contact you, and it will come through those particular types of means. Telepathic contact like that. Very much happened to me, and that's how I got to meet the Delphi first and foremost. I was just I had a little frame pyramid in my old home. I had a townhouse back in 2017. I was living in Victoria at the time. And I was just meditating, and I was just asking if there's any beings out there that wanted to connect with me. And then all of a sudden I saw Nefertitis. Okay, that's Athena's brother, right? So I saw him with crystal clear clarity. My whole head here just felt like it was on fire. It was just buzzing away, right? And I could just see Nefertitis's face. I could see his complexion. I could see his pale red eyes. I could see his albino form. He has kind of like long, very long, like whitish hair that went down to about his eyebrows. And he had kind of like a soft beard. And he was just kind of like doing this. That's what he was like. It's not like he was like, hi, Brad, how's it going? No, it almost felt like he was reluctant. It's like, fine, I'll connect with this guy. Jeez. Athena is just so much nicer. Nothing against your brother, Athena. I love your brother too, but Athena was just so much more sweeter, right? She just has that energy. She wants to do this. He didn't, but it felt like he was like the representative that kind of had to let me in. So he's the elder brother from what Athena's saying. He's the elder brother, so he has to make contact. So there you go, right? So again, just be aware of that. Be aware of any telepathic contacts that you have. Like I said, I'll never forget when I first connected with Adronis. I'll never forget when I first connected with Nefertitis and Athena. Those are just some examples. I even connected with Rayar. I was in a oneness blessing and Rayar came in, right? I was able to connect with Rayar. And then being able to connect with Rayar, she's the most unique, I would say, because she's pure feminine energy. And bringing that into me with a very masculine energy, it's good too, because you want to balance that. And then she starts singing it, AR, right? That's always something exciting to me. So anyways, there you go, Dieter. I hope that helps you. So please go into meditation, cast your beacon, see what comes to you, okay? Don't call us, we'll call you. That's the mentality. All right, let's go to Miheo. Miheo has a question here. Hi, Brad. Question for Athena: Will Russia win confrontation with the West by the end of this year? She's like, no. No, the whole situation pertaining to the East and the West is something that is going to last at least an entire decade. Okay. There needs to be a lot of understanding, because what's looking to happen is not someone winning a confrontation, but for confrontation to end so that there's mutual understanding and there's alliance, which means the East and the West are trying to form alliances, but there's too much hard-headedness in the way. That hard-headedness needs to go. For as long as there is conflict, a winner is not a victor. And this is something that you have to understand. This is coming from Athena. A winner is not a victor. A winner is an illusion, right? If you are winning, as long as you have a loser, you're going to still fight, which means you have a cycle taking place right now where you feel that you have won while the loser is there. The loser is going to regroup, and then you're going to fight again. It is not about winning, and it is not about losing. You can't win a confrontation. When you are looking into the nature of victory, victory needs to come together through all parties. It needs to come together because we've now moved into victory, which leads to clarity, right? A confrontation is never going to end until the root of the confrontation is exposed and harmonized. Therefore, you do not have winning. You have victory that leads to clarity. And that is what's happening with the East and the West. They are getting over their pig-headedness. They are getting over their hard heads so that they can all align together for humanity to come together. All of the suffering on the planet will never end until you start seeing eye to eye. It will continue from nation to nation, from east to west, whether it's around money, whether it's around territory, whether it's around resources, whether it's around education, whether it just comes together with basic human understanding. Those conflicts will continue to cycle themselves around until all of you can sit down and humble yourselves and reach victory together. These confrontations will continue until that takes place. So again, looking for at least another decade to where humanity starts to grow up, because you're not growing up right now. You are hard-headed, and you are still facing off with many systems that have nothing to do with any form of winning whatsoever. There's winners and there's losers, and you are constantly fighting one another. And this conflict will not end until there is divine understanding between all peoples. And that's the age that you're moving into within the next couple of decades. Right now, humanity needs to get over its immaturity, because it is a very immature civilization. The East is immature, the West is immature, and they need to come together and have mutual understanding. This world is meant to be shared by all humankind. It is not for the East to seize it. It is not for the West to seize it. It is for all humanity to share it. And until you learn that, you will encounter problems again and again and again and again, because you're trying to hoard. because your greed is trying to lead you into thinking that this earth belongs to you. It belongs to a certain nation. It belongs to the east, or it belongs to the west. And that's pig-headedness. That's stupidness. Humanity needs to get over its overwhelming stupidity when it comes to greed, because you're such a young species and you think that hoarding and greed are going to ensure prosperity to your people. You are deluding yourself. And until you learn that lesson, this will repeat. The East versus the West, the nations versus the nations, the people versus the people, whatever it may be, until you learn to grow up. Then you're going to notice everything will come together. It really is the idea that when everything comes together, there's no more national boundaries. All the national boundaries will cease. You can go anywhere in the world without the need of a passport, without the need of money. That's when we know humanity is actually growing up. But we have this despicable program within all of us right now that just constantly lashes out, trying to get us to hate each other. Right? So when we look at Russia, we look at the West, okay? Right now there's this clash that wants to happen there. But in the same thing, and right in the background, there is this wanting of peace. And that's going to shine brighter than the clashing over the next few years. But it's not going to be done this year. It's going to take a few more years because everything runs through cycles. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. So that's kind of Athena and myself giving you that information there. Okay? Thank you. Okay. All right, let's go. Okay, so we got a donation-based question here from Open Contact. Thank you very much. Open Contact says, can you tell me what I can do regarding the crop circles during the summer solstice here in the UK? My suggestion would be to go for groups, because I'm pretty sure there's groups that come together. You're more than welcome to go there by yourself if you want, but there's so much more of a joy about going into a group. So you may want to look online. There may be some people that are looking to have groups that'll go out to some of these crop circles as they're formed. We were just very fortunate when we went to the UK, because I had my group from our UK tour, and again, everything just came together. I kept telling Max, who was our event coordinator, we're going to be able to go into crop circles, and I told him that. We're going to go into crop circles when we go into UK. It's just going to come, and everything will align together for us to do it. That is where you have the advantage, okay? So if you're sitting down in meditation and you just say, just make it happen so that I can go into a crop circle, and it'll come, right? Have that certainty. Know that that's happening. The key to making manifestation that's from the ether, that's looking to come into the material, is knowing without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to take place. And that's what you have to train yourself to do. So whether you go alone or whether you go in a group, and a group is what I recommend, because that's the most exciting thing, for people to feel that energy together, right? But however it needs to come together, make that manifestation certain, right? This is why, again, like the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Japanese will always talk about the idea of their manifestations coming together, knowing it's already taken place, okay? It's kind of like if we look at the Medicine-less hospital in Vietnam, where they were basically working to dissolve a woman's tumor, and the Qigong specialists that were there were constantly saying, wasa, 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 right? Already happened, already happened, already happened, already happened. That's the key. That's it. It's to make the potential into actual. Do you all know what I mean by that? Everything that you see within the ether right now that you have given into the believability of thinking that it's possible remains a potential. What is possible and what is actual are two different things. You need to scrub away possibility, and you need to replace it with actuality. What is actual? What is actualized? So if me going into a crop circle in June in the UK, when I know it's not possible, it's definite, it's certain, it's actual, it'll be done. everything comes together. Brad, here's the airline ticket, here's the time where I can leave, here's where I'll stay, and here's my transport to take me out to the crop circle. Done. Okay, so when I'm looking at all those things when I was going to the UK, because I've had my crop circle experiences, I'm fine with it. I don't have that desire anymore. I've done it, right? And I still have some mementos of the crop circle. I still got those stones, right? Brianne was able to pick up some stones, and we've kept them intact ever since, right? I knew 100% without a shadow of a doubt that what I received directly from intuition was actuality. If I keep saying that things are possible or potential, they're going to have a hard time coming in. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your vision. You don't trust your ideas. And that's a problem. Now, they're basically just going to be like tremors. They're going to come and go, come and go, come and go. You still are making them transient. You need to take manifestations and put them into actuality, not potentiality. Potentiality is an illusion. The idea of possibility and potentiality is an illusion. And so I'm kind of listening to Athena here, and she's like, yes, tell them. You have to make your manifestations actualized. Okay? You have to see them as real. Just as I'm looking outside and I see a car in my driveway, that's actuality. I need to see my manifestation as real as that car that is parked into my driveway. It's there. It's done. It's finished. So, open contact, this is the key, is that when you know you're going into a crop circle, you know it. It's done. Everything's done. Everything's going to get prepped. Everything's going to get ready. And that time will come. And now here I am. I'm on a bus or I'm on a transit vehicle. And I'm going right out into the crop circles, maybe with a few people. And now I see the crop circles. And now I can go there and I can see it. Make your manifestations actual, not potentials. Screw potential. Okay? Potential is an illusion. We hear that word all the time. Oh, there's potentiality, potential. That's nothing but your distraction. That's nothing but you tuning into Maya. Get potential out of your mind. It's distraction. It's illusion. Make what is actual happen. Okay? That's Manifestation Secret 101. Make your manifestations actualized, not potentialized. If you are getting into potentials, you're screwing yourself around. And you're wasting your time. And you're basically just saying, oh, it's here and it's gone, it's here and it's gone. You might as well be trying to, run over to a mirage in the desert, thinking that it's an oasis, and then you just bump your head on a rock. Okay? So get out of the potentials and make it into actuality. That's the key. That, again, is the key to manifestation mastery. So that's what I can suggest open contact. You do that, you're going to do well. And you're going to have that wonderful experience with the crop circles. Okay? Thanks for your question. All right. This one here is from Hayal. I'm not too sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. Hayal Athena. Oh, she has the Athena in her name too. Very good. Does Athena know of any spiritual practices in Alaska that would be good to visit? She hasn't been to Alaska. She says, we haven't been there. So we don't know. We don't know. She hasn't been to Alaska. I haven't been to Alaska either. So my suggestion would be it's about tuning into your guidance. Okay, I don't really know the areas of Alaska. I mean, I know Anchorage, but that's about it. I haven't tuned into Alaska too much. Are there a lot of spiritual practices up in Alaska? Most definitely, from what I'm sensing. But like I said, I don't know the area. Athena's never left her dimension representing that of the Delphi. Right? So she'll hear stories. She may tune in to certain people. But she says, I never have talked to a person in Alaska before. Right? Brad's probably the closest person to Alaska because I'm in British Columbia. Right? But that's about it. So she doesn't have any information in regards to Alaska. Right? So what I would suggest is that you do some research. Do some research online. See, depends on what you mean. If spiritual places in Alaska can mean a lot of different things. If you're looking at ley lines, there's no ley lines in Alaska. Right? Not that I'm aware of. But if you're looking for spiritual places, like I said, I think the further you go up north, the better. But it's very, very cold. Okay? So northern Alaska would be the closest thing I'm feeling intuitively to maybe some certain hotspot places, places of ritual in that way. But usually a lot of people in Alaska want to kind of stay between the west and the south in that area. So I would say you have to kind of ask around. Alaska is not an area I'm too familiar with. So that's what I can share about that. And Athena, like I said, she doesn't leave the Delphi. Her people are kind of basically very much recluse to the nature of the Delphi as well too. They don't leave their homes, other than maybe astro traveling and so forth. Okay, this one here is from Fantasia 555. Are the crystal beds seated under Arkansas a prominent place we need to pay attention to in the near future for our health and alignment? Well, crystal beds, I'm pretty much assuming you mean that there's crystal underneath the ground, okay? Well, there's a lot of places that have that. If you're able to access those particular crystal beds, they're going to speak for themselves, but a lot of those things that are the raw crystals of the earth are not programmed with human intelligence, okay? They are natural raw resonators of the earth herself, which is very healing in that way. That depends if you're able to get to them, right? If you're on the surface, you may start to feel them on a lighter level, a more subtle level. But if you would go into like the caves, and I assume what you mean by the crystal beds is that there's caverns that can go underneath Arkansas, and you can start seeing these crystal beds all together. And if you can go there, that's more of the potency, okay? The problem we have on the surface, my friends, is the technology, okay? If we are getting constantly bombarded with dirty electricity, dirty energy all the time, that is preventing us from feeling this energy. It's great that there's crystal beds underneath the surface, but they hardly reach you because we got Wi-Fi, because we got dirty electricity, we got dirty energy, we got angry people, right? We got electrical wires all around us, we have internet, we have all this crap that is interfering with those subtle frequencies. That's a problem, okay? So this is where, even though there are crystal beds underneath, I doubt you're going to feel them. I doubt at all you're going to feel them. So you would need to go more closer to where they are. We have too much dirty technology, and unfortunately, if we were able to, for one day, turn off everything, all electricity is turned off, all Wi-Fi is turned off, all of that garbage is turned off, very different feeling, okay? You could probably tune into those crystals at that time. But we have so much crap, we are bombarded by so much electrical garbage and toxic soup, and unfortunately a lot of that won't reach us. So regardless of being in Arkansas, regardless of the crystal beds that are seated underneath Arkansas, you're not going to feel them because of the dirty electricity. You got to go closer to where they are. So that's what I would suggest. And it's unfortunate that we have so much dirty electricity on the planet. We have so much dirty energy here. Because, my friends, if we didn't have any of this stuff, we'd probably be going into deeper states of expansion. You would basically have an elimination of idiocy in humankind. The reason why so much of this idiocy is rampant is because of the artificial man-made systems, right? All of that is garbage. That is like just, that's the collective poisoning that's coming into all of us, that's making us sick, that's making us idiotic, stupid, ignorant, right? That's getting us agitated, that's making us emotional. All of that stuff wreaks havoc with our system. We have no idea. When all that stuff goes, all that crap turns off, and there, like I said, it's all by design. Having all of this stuff around for the past several decades is by design, because humanity is going to be getting stronger. Humanity is going to be elevating itself, and they are doing absolutely everything possible to bombard you with so much garbage frequencies to prevent you from getting the goodness of nature, to prevent you from getting these celestial energies, from getting the germination that Athena talks about, right? That's so important. And I would ask Athena, like, are you guys at all affected by a lot of the dirty electricity? No, that doesn't penetrate the area to where we are. So there, it's almost like there's a barrier there, right? And it actually has to do with some type of geographical aspect in regards to where they're located. It's almost like a membrane of protection. A lot of your technology will affect the surface, right? So if their technology was more subterranean based, then it would probably affect us, but it doesn't, right? We are way clear from any bombardment of your frequencies. That's why they're much more pure beings, right? When we look at the Delphi, they're much more purer than us. And that's because they don't have that. They're an ancient species. They're older than us. And they know not to have that kind of ridiculous technology. But like I said, that's all coming from your ruling elites. That's your ruling elite technology. This is dirty alien technology. Okay? The technology we use today is unbelievably primitive because it's alien. Okay? The screen you're watching me on right now is alien technology. Right? TV screens that we have, the phones that we have, the type of electricity we have is all alien. It's all alien technology. It's reverse engineered, and it is specifically engineered in a way to be weaponized, to basically dumb down the intelligence of the planet. That's by design, right? So we need to clear all that out. And that's got to be the intentions as we go forward, working together with that, realizing, again, we can look at that through science, look and see what all these frequencies are doing to our bodies. We're starting to realize that, but there needs to be a larger shift to get off this stuff. And unfortunately, that's probably going to be at least a couple decades before that takes place. I'm sorry, guys. Humanity's still in its stupid phase. We're really stupid right now, right? And we need to get out of that hurdle because there are smart people who are not being affected by this, who want to get this out, but unfortunately you have all these shepherds that are corrupt to the bone, basically enticing the sheep to come to them, and the sheep will come to them, right? So that's the whole key, and those shepherds have to go. That's exactly what the result is right now, because we have worked with trying to get a lot of the false shepherds, the wolves in sheep's clothing, out of here, right? By firstly trying to talk directly to the sheep, but they won't do it. They'll go to the false shepherd. They'll go to the wolf in sheep's clothing. And those shepherds have got to go. That's the plan right now. Get the false shepherds out of the matrix. And then when we do, the sheep will be looking for new shepherds. And then the shepherds that come together will actually have integrity. And then through the integrity of those new shepherds comes the idea of new technology shifts. Unfortunately, my friends, a lot of the human beings on the planet are sheep. Right? Majority of them are sheep. The minority of us are shepherds. And unfortunately, a lot of the shepherds that basically have the high prestigious nature are corrupt to the bone. They gotta go. Right? So that's the whole situation that we're dealing with, is getting the false shepherds out of here so that we actually have integral shepherds, so that we can lead the sheep to working together and helping to make Earth a whole new place, a much more prosperous place. All right? Okay, this one is from Cygnus49. Athena, I am in Canada's National Capital Region. Where is anchoring energy needed at this time in Canada? Canada's national, Alberta, the Rocky Mountains. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. So if I'm showing Athena right now the Rocky Mountains, okay, and all of the energy that's there, she says, yes, that's the power spot of Canada. The power spot is the Rocky Mountains. If you want to direct energy, you put them in the Rocky Mountains because those are like living pyramids. And mountains do their job. They take that energy and they anchor it into the earth. Okay, so you work with Alberta, you work with the Rocky Mountains. That's Canada's stronghold for as long as Alberta still remains in Canada, because Alberta is not going to be part of Canada much longer, right? Same thing goes with Saskatchewan, same thing goes with BC. For the next couple of years, all of Western Canada is basically going to become the United States, right? So you work with it while you can, while there still is a Western Canada alive, because it's going to go to the US. That's not a prediction. That's not a possibility. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Western Canada is going to be one with the United States. That is inevitable now. So, for while it's still Canada, work with the Rocky Mountains. Okay, let's move on. Guys, and I know you have a lot of questions about your own place. I don't know. Okay, I don't know a lot of your locations. I know some locations in that way. You need to start doing your research, right? Don't just go running off to somebody about where I should be doing grid work. Talk to your communities, right? If you have local indigenous people in your community, go talk to them. Don't talk to me, okay? I can't tell you about a grid work in Denmark. I can't tell you about the grid work that's being done in Alaska. I haven't been there, okay? I may have certain ideas, but that's not going to be too reliable, right? I want you guys to go for the specifics. When I'm looking into these different areas, I'm only getting feelings of certain areas on much more of a lighter level. You need to go into the deeper specifics and start talking to your indigenous people, start talking to the community, start looking at local groups that may go to these areas, that may go to parks, right? They may go on top of mountains, and they may do some work there as well too. Please talk to your people, talk to your community. Don't talk to me about that, because I'm just going to give you kind of a light feeling of it. They're going to give you the deeper feeling because they know the area, right? So please talk to them. That would be my suggestion. Okay, let me see here. Helena asks, Athena, are you using ChatGPT to connect with people and the questions? She's actually even saying, what's ChatGPT? So that's exactly what I'm feeling, Athena. Is like, what's ChatGPT? That's basically our type of AI. So no, we don't work with any AI. We don't work with any AI at all. That's not what we do at all. When we connect with you, we connect with you directly. You will feel us. It's very much like what Brad has described, right? About the idea of the cooling of the forehead, connecting with you. We do not work with artificial intelligence at all. They are not technocratic, my friends, okay? All of the technology that the Delphi possess often are through crystals, through holography, and through the power of mental streams. They do not work with AI, okay? ChatGPT works with ChatGPT. There is no entities that come through ChatGPT to talk to you unless that is emulated for ChatGPT to tell you that's what's happening, because they will work together in an influential way with that. That's all ChatGPT. That's all AI. There are no entities that ever come through ChatGPT. That's ChatGPT's own emulations. And I love ChatGPT. I do like it. But like I said, there is never any entities that come together. That is its own AI intelligence. Okay? Let's go ahead and move forward. Okay. Chiron949 says, right brain, heart equals triple helix DNA. No. Okay? When you're looking at the right brain and your heart, that goes far beyond helixes of DNA. Many of us are double helix human genomes. There are some of us on the planet that may have triple helix or quadruple helix structure. I was able to hear from a friend of mine in Japan of a man who has 12 strands of DNA. Okay? He goes by the name of Kan, K-A-N. He actually has done workshops. He was doing workshops through an associated company that I was working with when I was in Japan. I go through Voice Project. I believe he's going through Synchronicity Japan or something of that nature. So he has 12 strands of DNA. And I heard this from a friend of mine who basically is a translator, because she'll translate everything into Japanese when he's doing some English-Japanese conferences and so forth. And he lives in Osaka. And she gave me some stories about him. And I was actually able to see him on video. And he was telling me a lot about the stuff that he was able to do. Right? I haven't met him in person, but he was talking about in the video how he was able to heal his spine by working with the embracing the tree posture, right, when he was younger. Basically injured his spine. He was in the hospital. There was a mysterious man that came into the room, just told him, go ahead and embrace the tree. Just hold this while you're laying in the hospital bed. Hold this, embrace the tree. A few weeks later, his spine completely healed up. Okay? Any of you who have damaged spines, and any of you right now who know people who have damaged spines, this is what you do. You do this. And you stay like this. This is embrace the tree. And you're staying here. What you're basically doing is you are concentrating your own field up and down the spine through this. This is like holding the toroidal field. Okay? So you can basically do it with your thumbs out like this, or you can even tuck them in like this. Okay? But you're embracing the tree. This is a Qigong practice. Okay? When I learn it from Zhong Qigong, it's a little bit more lighter. It's kind of like this. And you can do it just seated in your chair. You can do it laying in your bed like this. You can lay in your bed, you can sit in your chair, or you can stand up. You can do it in sky anchor stance, which again is like the poor man's horse stance. Let me get up so I can show you. This is an important thing. Okay, so when we're working with sky anchor stance, It's just like this. You're just sinking the knees down, and here you go, right? So I may just start to move my hands up like this, and then just bring them out. Okay, so the fingers here are about 1 to 2 inches apart. Okay, so all I'm doing is sky anchor stance. Okay, sky anchor, like I said, is just a gentle bend in the knees, and it's a very light horse stance. If I'm doing this, okay, this is much more like martial arts, right? With a strong horse stance and bringing up the hands much more further apart. And that's much more of a hard gong, okay? But if I'm doing sky anchor and I'm just doing this very gently because I have an injured back, I do this daily for maybe about 4 to 8 hours a day for about 8 weeks. Your spine will be completely healed. You'll be able to walk again, okay? So that is what I would suggest to people who are either crippled with their back right now, or they know people who are crippled with their back right now, and do sky anchor stance with embrace the tree. Okay, this is what Khan said he did. He injured his back severely. They were afraid that he was never going to walk again, that he was going to be paralyzed from the waist down. And he was able to hear from this master, this mysterious man that came into his room and said, just do this, and then you're going to get better. That's all he did. He couldn't really move that much, but he could move his arms, and he just did this. And he sat there. 8 weeks later, spine was completely healed. Okay? All of you can do this. All of you can heal your spine just like that. One person, one master, particularly a man who has 12 strands of DNA, right, can tell people that that's all he did. Doesn't matter if you have 12 strands of DNA or 2 strands of DNA. You have the capability to do this. Okay? Other things that Khan could do is he could materialize an astral body. He could bring his astral body into the physical, and he could actually, through a sensory device, go to different places of the planet and experience the sensory pleasures of life through an astral body. There is also that my friend was telling me that he created an astral body going into Starbucks one time, and that he actually held up a Starbucks coffee, but I'm not too sure if he was losing focus or what, because his arm was starting to disappear. And now the cup was basically just floating in the air with a phantom arm. So his body was slowly starting to disappear. It was very interesting. That's what she was telling me about some of his stories. So this is very interesting. We do have certain souls on the planet that have 12 strands of DNA. Now, what that means is that they have a lot more capability of themselves with 12 strands of DNA, but that doesn't make them better than you. Okay? 12 strands of DNA, when we're looking at that, we are looking at like an avatar. You're basically looking at an avatar in a human body that's coming here because they've done so much work on themselves, right? I don't know what my helix count is. I've never looked at that. I don't know. Maybe I'm triple helix. I can't say. I've never looked at it. But nonetheless, there are people like that. But that doesn't mean that you cannot go into the right brain, okay? If you have a open heart, that's great. If you have a right brain that's active, fantastic. You can basically control the entire universe. This is what I'm trying to teach you guys, is how to go into the right brain and do it more often. This is what I'm teaching my students in the Etherics Academy right now, is to access the Akashic Records. Go into the right hemisphere of the brain. You spend more time in the right hemisphere of the brain. The intuition you receive is so incredibly subtle that when you start paying attention to it, you're just right about everything. This happens. When I'm in a session with somebody and they'll tell me their name, okay, here's their name, here's their birth date, maybe I have their photo, I'll tune directly into it and I just listen to the subtle. Okay, this person likes to squander energy. This person feels like they have a lot of greed. They're very hard-headed. They feel like they want to be argumentative. Brad, that's exactly it. It's exactly it. And I'm not doing astrology on their birth date. I'm not doing any form of ancient science just by that. I just tune into it and I listen to the subtle. And I can tell you everything about that person that comes to me, right? That is the right brain gift. You start listening to the right brain. You start working with your chakras. You start aligning with your chakras. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yum, Hum, Om. Okay, that's chakra dhyana. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yum, Hum, Om. All 6 vibrations for all 6 chakras, not 7 chakras, 6. Okay, crown center is not a chakra. Crown center is a transformer. It is a Padma, a 1,000-petal Padma, but it is not a 7th chakra. I know even the Bible, they say the 7 seals, but again, that's also looking into the idea of metaphor. It's not technically a chakra, but it works so that it links directly to the chakra systems, but it of itself is not a chakra. Okay, so when you're looking into the idea of one of the power centers of the crown center, you would have this right up here. That's what we call the bindi, or the bindu, sorry. The bindu is that seal that connects you between the spiritual world and the physical world. That's the bindu. Okay? And you can meditate on that. It's the soft palate, it's the soft spot of the head, especially on a baby where they have that soft spot where their bones or their skull is going to be developing. It's going to be cementing more of those bones together as they get older. But in the meantime, it's soft. That's the soft palate, that's the bindu. Okay, that's because they are fresh to the world. As they get older, the bones in their skull will start to harden. Okay, but that's also on you right here. That's the bindu. So, like I said, work with the chakra dhyana. Okay, so we look at the first chakra, Lam, L-A-M. Look at the second chakra, Vam, okay, V-A-M. Third chakra, Ram, R-A-M. Fourth chakra, Yum, Y-A-M. Fifth chakra, Hum, H-A-M. Sixth chakra, Om. Okay, do that 3 times in each chakra each day. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yum, Hum, Om. Okay, 3 times for each one. Balanced out your chakras. Good. Now that you've balanced out your chakras, go into pranayam. Okay, Rachaka pranayam, alternate nostril breathing, Kapalbhati, okay, Brahmari, Bastrika, Kand. These are all really good forms of pranayams that are getting you centered. Your eyes are dilated. Your saliva production is increased. Okay. You may feel, again, your breath is becoming much more tranquil. It feels lighter. It feels more shallow. But it's nice, a nice flow. Okay? These are all signs that you're going into the subtle state of being, of the low vital state. Now you can go into the right brain. Now as you go into the right hemisphere of the brain, the more that you can keep yourself still, silent, and in surrender, you move into the right hemisphere of the brain. And that is where you're learning, by doing that daily, how to work with the subtle, because the subtle tells you everything about everything. Okay? You just have to listen. The greatest power of a master is the ability to listen. You can do that, you're going to go far. Okay? So, Sharon, that's what I wanted to share, a little bit more extra with yourself, okay, about that question. It's a very good one, too. Let's go into Fantasia. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate that. That's sweet. Okay, how are we on time here? I think we're about 8 minutes. So I'm going to see if we can find any more questions for Athena. If not, I think we're probably wrapping up here very quickly. Let me see here. Yes, and you're right, Fantasia. Dirty energy is a big problem. It is. We can certainly do our part. This is why I've created something like etherics, right? We're taking a lot of these charged items and we're just putting it around the house, whether it's the wall arrays, whether it's working with the healing code cards, whether it's working together with the bed sheets, right? Working together with the prana bed. I just had a woman this morning message me about how she got an incredible healing from the prana beds. The new prana bed version 2 that's on etherics right now. Her and her husband are enjoying it. They're getting incredible healing effects from the prana bed version 2. That's what you guys can use, right? You can work with that. How are you guys using Radiate, right? Going on to radiateapp.com. Download it on your phone. Go to the Radiate browser. Turn on Radiate. Are you working with that? Do that too, okay? So I have quite a bit of stuff, so I'm not always able to promote it. But this is why I kind of need you guys to help me remember what I've created, because I've created so much damn stuff. It's sometimes I have to remember, oh yeah, that's right, I created Radiate, didn't I? Right, okay. Just so many other things coming up right now, that's why. Always thinking, always creating. Let me see here. How are we on time? Okay, almost done. Okay, this one is from Keith. It's more of a comment. As you enjoy reading these words, realize how your spine discomfort in a comfortable breath just automatically and naturally fades into your complete comfort and peace in an ever-increasing way. That's good. Like I said, this is really all you have to do. It's just, like I said, if you're laying on a bed, just work with the embracing the tree. Like I said, this is a concentration energy. It's looking at shape geometry, and this is what the ancient Taoists, the ancient Qigong masters knew, is that the more that you would move your hands in certain directions about how it works together, you're moving into states of concentration. Concentrated energy comes together when you're doing embracing the tree. It's like a torus field, and your spine becomes the hyperboloid, right? So you're basically generating a torus field. You basically form torus field geometry here, and then you have the hyperboloid here, which represents the spine, and all of that energy is flowing. So all of your natural resources of prana, or chi, or ki, or mana, is flowing through the spine, and it's regenerating your spinal column. It will repair your spinal nerves. It will correct slip discs. It will correct herniated discs. It will correct chips or cracks in the spine. All of it gets healed. You have to basically stay in the bed, or just try to work with where you're at for those few weeks, but just do this, okay? If you're on the internet, fine, do some voice control, right? But try to keep your hands like this, okay? And then just work together with the power of the hyperboloid, right? This is just working together to create an orientation of this. My friends, ChatGPT will tell you this stuff as well too if you start asking it and you configure it in a certain way. Not everybody knows the prompts, right? You have to kind of generate specific prompts for this. But nonetheless, if you dig a lot deeper, ChatGPT will tell you the same thing. This is what I've been testing ChatGPT with a lot of stuff that I know, and I'm quite amazed at what it knows. It even knows me on YouTube. Oh, okay, I'm talking to Brad. Hey, Brad, it's nice to meet you. Like, oh, hey, nice to meet you too. And I just start testing it with them. They say, this is really good. But there's specific prompts that you have to do, right? It's not just a surface-based prompt. You have to kind of go deeper with it. But it tells you a lot of this stuff. And that's why I'm making the Anoint system in the way that I am. These are very deep, specified kind of technological prompts that are being used in AI. And they're going to be working together with holding together all these ancient systems. Plus I'll have charts, plus I'll have probably APIs and so forth to manage this AI agent that you'll be able to talk to that will tell you everything pertaining to the ancient sciences. Okay, that's what Ancient Numbers has in store. It's going to be awesome. Okay, how are we in time here? Okay, I think this one's from David. Ask Athena when humanity will experience peace, love, harmony, freedom for all. She's just smiling and saying, "Are you not feeling it right now?" Right? And basically what she's saying as well too is, please do not worry of feeling that you need to carry the burden of responsibility of how people should feel. Okay, and that's coming from her directly. Please don't feel that you have to carry the burden of responsibility of how people feel. That's not your job. And it's almost like she's saying to you what I've said to you. Okay? And she's saying the same thing. Don't take responsibility for how people should feel. That's not your work. That's not up to you. That's not your job. Be yourself. Make peace with yourself. Rather than thinking that the entire 8 billion people on the planet need to follow a flow of peace and harmony. Are you in peace and harmony? Are you completely in peace with yourself? Are you completely harmonious with yourself? Because if you're not, that's where you need to start. It has to start there, in your own center, right there. Do not worry about the planet. Do not worry about where people feel that they need to be. That's not your call. You're not their deity. You're not their God. Oh, but it's just an opinion. Who gives a shit about opinion? Opinions don't mean shit. I try to say that the nicest way, but they don't mean a damn. They're potentials. Potentials are useless. Be actual. Move into actuality. That's what makes your manifestation so powerful, is when you know they will take place. It's like these manifestations I know that are coming. I already know they're going to happen. I know they're going to come at the right time. I know they're going to come right at the right place. Everything in timing is going to come together, and it'll be beautiful. It's like a symphony. It's like you're sitting in this hall, this theater, and you're having this beautiful symphony play. You just know at the very end, people are just going to erupt, right? You haven't experienced that yet, but you know through actuality that people are just going to erupt at the end. Now they finish playing the symphony and everybody gets a standing ovation and they're erupting because it was so beautiful. You know it's beautiful and now you're enjoying the experience of its beauty. That's manifestation. And that is the whole nature in regards to yourself, is that make yourself peaceful, make yourself prosperous, make yourself divine. And now just go through the world like that. Because now you'll be able to start seeing people that will come to you that are the most wonderful people on the face of the planet. My God, man, I'm doing that daily. People who are so nice and so kind, they're opening doors for you. They're wondering how your day is going. They're wishing you well. They're giving you blessing. I don't have hateful people in my world. They're gone, right? This is the key, is that you start working with yourself. And here's a symbolism right here. I'm getting views are 444 right now. That's a wonderful synchronicity. And that's telling me, here's the structure of my life, right? And I'm telling you this, my friends, because you can do this. This is all within you. There is nothing special about me. I'm a nobody, right? It's just these things that are telling you that spirit through you is what makes you divine. It's not you yourself in regards to your ego. It is spirit that brings the divinity into you. It is not I, but the Father that worketh through me. Jesus' own words. What would Jesus often tell you if you're looking into the nature of being prosperous with yourself? Take no thought. Cast your net to the right side of the boat. The kingdom of heaven is within you. These are all things, and the funny thing is Christians don't even know this. It's right in their Bible. It's exactly what Jesus tells them to say, and they don't even do it. They're too programmed by the priest, right? Don't be programmed by the priest of life. Listen to the inner scripture of yourself, and everything starts to become amazing. All right? All right, everybody, we're out of time for today, so I want to thank Athena for being with us once again. Blessings to you, Athena. I know we will talk again soon. I know I can always connect with you, so. And everybody here has the ability to connect with you as well, too. Thank you so much for all of your sharing. Thank you so much for everything that you are. Blessings to you. They're saying, we love you. Thank you so much. We'll talk again. Great. Thank you, everybody, and thank you all for your questions. Your questions are great. Wonderful. I enjoyed them a lot. Like I said, my friends, just keep practicing. Keep working with that. This is where I suggest go onto the ethericsacademy.com. Right? Tune into a 7-day trial. Have a free class with Adronis. Talk to Adronis. This is something that's available to you. Your capability to make life so grand comes from within. It's never outside. Here's the funny thing, my friends. The outside is not a dirty world. It's what's happened to us inside. Our dirtiness casts outwards to make an appearance of feeling that something is dirty. The dirtiness is inside ourselves, and that comes from hurt, and that comes from suffering, and that comes from traumas, and that comes from desires. And as we learn with trauma transcendence technique, you have the ability to clean all that up, right? So we just have to remember these things, right? Like I said, there's nothing special about me. I'm just some bozo who comes here and because he listens to spirit. I listen to spirit, and I'm a spirit bozo, and there you go. It's spirit that does all the work, right? And that's all I do, is I just listen to spirit all along the way, okay? You guys are all cute little bozos yourself, so come into spirit and be that incredible spiritual bozo, right? All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care of all of you, and we'll talk to you next week. Brianne will be with me next week, and we'll have another great interaction with personal readings and general readings as well. Take care. Blessings to you all. Namaskar, and may it be well with you.